Well, well, Serafina, I must say, your dress looks rather extravagant. Did you really have to overspend on something so unnecessary? Marcel, it's my wedding day, and I wanted to feel special. I would hope that my mother-in-law would be supportive of me. Well, I am supportive. I just hope that you're not bankrupting my son with your excessive spending. Marcel, that's not fair. Lysander and I have been splitting expenses all along, including the wedding. I have my own income and savings too. This day is about celebrating love, not criticizing each other. Celebrating love? More like celebrating your ability to spend money you don't have. I have seen through your charade, Serafina. You're just a gold digger taking advantage of my son's generosity. Marcel, I am not a gold digger. I have never asked Lysander for anything beyond love and support. I have my own dreams and ambitions, and I work very hard to achieve them. Oh, please. We all know the truth, Serafina. Your job is just an excuse to cover up your desire for luxury. You think we're blind, but we can see right through you. Marcel, I don't expect you to understand or believe me, but I am proud of my accomplishments and the life I have built for myself. I don't need validation from you or anyone else. Today is my wedding day, and you need to respect that. Your wedding day. It won't last, Serafina. Mark my words. Lysander will soon realize the mistake he made, and you will be left with nothing but an empty bank account. Marcel, I may not have your approval, but I don't need it. I'm confident in my love for Lysander and myself. I won't let your negativity ruin my happiness. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have a wedding to enjoy. I was a 28-year-old woman by the name of Serafina. 3 incredible years with Lysander. My relationship was peaceful, and our mutual love of travel made it even more enjoyable as we explored the world together. My definitive moment while we were away, walking the exciting streets of a foreign city, just one of those days, and it hit me like an urban undertow that this goldfish was inextricably hooked. We had of course talked about it a lot, and I think we both felt like this would have been the way. Lysander was child of privilege, and he made a lot more money than me, which enabled him to do grand stuff for me. Initially, he paid for most of our things, and I mean extravagant meals to lavish holidays. I knew he was just being nice, but for some reason I felt weird that our financial relationship was totally out of balance. I was hoping to help and ease the financial strain on us both. When I finished college and got a decent job, one of the first things that came up was my feelings about Lysander. I voiced my concern about sharing bills and said perhaps we should live together, since I always play to get the rent. For both us as a devoted, settled-in couple, and also so we could incorporate our lives. So Lysander, of course, being the understanding and supportive partner, he was said yes. A new apartment that seemed to encapsulate our heart's desire and the beginning of a shared life together. It was a huge milestone for us in our relationship to move in together. Finally in our new home, and we were so contented. We loved waking up in the same bed, eating together each morning, and seeing one another again at night. Our lives blended together effortlessly, and it was the next evolutionary step our relationship had to take. Not only did this help lessen the financial strain on Lysander a bit, it also made me feel less dependent. Our bills, rent and grocery expenses were shared 50-50, which helped create an even dynamic. We set budgets with each other, saved together, and saved towards our end goals, whether that be a holiday or potentially money to put down payment on a house. This was a shared effort which brought us closer as a couple and helped us both grow. And we were doing so well, in some planning to meet Lysander's parents for the first time. Like a storybook countdown, and I was so stoked about this, but there is also many unexpected moments approach to life. Lysander had warned us that his parents, Valeria and Thorn, were judgmental. He was right. I could sense a flicker of trepidation as we sat down for dinner in their grand home. It was a fancy place, but there seemed to be an apprehending atmosphere. Valeria looked at me awkwardly, and Thorn was aloof, indifferent. These people had deep doubts about me. The curmudgeons slowly let their displeasure seep out over the course of the evening. Seraphina, how did you and Lysander meet? We met at a party through mutual friends, actually. We instantly hit it off. Interesting. And how long have you been dating? It's been 3 years now. We have an incredible time together. Wackness, allow me to be frank with you. Across the table, a shrieking voice replied, "This is why you are with him, right? For his money?" What? Oh, no, not at all. We share love to craft our relationship the first time I used my laptop, and as usual, made a mess of what to me was big money never ever in my life, aha. You have watched as Lysander lavished you with gifts and trips. It's hard not to wonder. Nice guy, but the uneven money flowing makes it weird. This is also the reason why we agreed to share expenses fair between us. Splitting expenses. That's surprising. I realized it looking back on my life. Well, after college and work, wanted to give something. It seems to be a fair split of financial responsibilities for two individuals who planned on spending the rest of their lives together. Do you really pay the price that should be paid? You spending on makeup and facial care, we have seen. Is Lysander funding that? Nah, anything like cosmetics, I buy that myself. I want to be the person who knows about money and has a little bit of knowledge. Who are you to be skeptical? Seraphina said with a wry smile. We want the best for Lysander. Believe me, I get it. Just know that my heart is in the right place. Lysander, if you are reading, I love you for who you are, not your pockets. Oh my Gomez, you guys are a break. Well, we only wish you made the right decision. We'll have to wait and see, won't we? Give me a chance to prove it. I actually like Lysander and need to construct a loving equal partnership with him. It's fine, babe. They just fear for me. No hard feelings. They'll come around. We'll see, Seraphina. We'll see. They were suggesting that I was only dating Lysander for his money, that a judgment from somebody who I had previously not even considered would ever judge me could cut so deep, was shocking. And to make it even worse, the response from Lysander. He laughed at what they said and convinced them it was not all that serious instead of protecting me. Valeria and Thorn had judged me the rest of the night. They harked on my Sinkai way of spending, especially when it comes to makeup and skincare, because they thought Lysander was paying for all of these pamperings and used them to prove that I must be some sort of gold digger. I did my best to explain that I worked for the money to buy them. I just wanted to communicate with you that what me and Lysander had was a REL connection, not DRVNBYMATRILPRKS. Unfortunately, my explanation fell on deaf ears. Disappointingly, Lysander was still not standing up for me, silent, which to me was activating a no vote from his parents securing their menu of dislikes for him to list in front of my face. I was crushed to the core because it felt like a betrayal, as if no one cared and as though I did not matter packed me from interacting with others. It was pretty much falling apart and definitely one of many murky marks on our record with each other. Unbeknownst to me at the time, this would be only the first of a series things going wrong. Evening 11, a number of months later, and nighttime 12, Caspian on his 6-month mark from the chance encounter with Lysander's oldsters. Lysander proposed to me and it was like the happiest moment tour of my life. I was bursting with joy. So, we started to plan our engagement party, a celebration of love between us and with all those who love us. Yet, as the plans developed, Valeria and Thorn loomed to spoil our happiness. They seemed like they were set on battling me at every whim to torch my relationship with their son. I voluntarily bought my own ticket, both for the engagement party and wedding ceremony. I wanted to hold my weight and showed these people I am independent. A part of that was wanting to prove to everyone, even Lysander's parents, including myself, I think what with my own fear surrounding entering into the agreement, searching for assurance within it somehow. However, Lysander's parents weren't the only people that thought I was in it for free money. This is what my whole family thought as well. In their eyes, I lived off of Lysander and that literal fact became a heavy weight on my heart beside the emotional sorrow. My mother could see that the stress of my planning was weighing heavily on me as, for what must have been the first time to her awareness, I felt sad. She could see how I was becoming exhausted with all the misunderstandings. With a touch of Mom's wisdom, she said I needed to sit down and talk with Lysander. Serafina, he is your partner. You must express your feelings and worry about what you haven't told your friends. Tell him the burden you are carrying and let him try to understand. These words stuck with me. I knew it was finally time to talk about my own complicated sexual history with Lysander in a more truthful way. I wanted him to empathize with how his parents' judgments were affecting me, and I was desperate for some support. So, I poured my heart out to Lysander. I articulated what effect that continual negativity was having on me emotionally. I talked about how I wanted us to present a unified front and confront the doubts and judgments of others as one united unit. Lysander was patient and squeezed my hand. Lysander wrote them off as jokes and they were gentle, however their intentions leveled against me in a fury. He told me he loved me and that his allegiance was to be with, not how his parents felt. Despite the comfort that his words offered, they provided a certain amount of doubt as well, and made me feel even more isolated. Yet it felt incomplete. Further down the path of wedding planning, Maricel and Thorne continued to take control at every opportunity, which only served to add stress. They now critiqued everything during the preparation process. Is there something terribly wrong with my decision or spending so much on the wedding? I began to feel so lost and helpless that I allowed myself to actually question my own self-worth because of the consistent negativity from his parents. I wanted them to feel good about me and acknowledge the positive light that Lysander and I had, but nothing was working. The air was thick with tension the day of the wedding. About my dress and makeup, Valeria quickly offered a cutting comment. My Serafina, you are absolutely resplendent in that gown. Seriously, you spent too much on this thing, so dumb. Maricel, this is my wedding day, and I wanted to be honored, which I would wish my mother-in-law to be supportive of me. Well, I am supportive. I pray this child appeal is all the cash my son required to be upright. Maricel, that's not fair. The wedding costs have been divided from the beginning between Lysander and I. I have income of my own and savings as well. We are supposed to celebrate love today, not tear each other down. Celebrating love? Kind of like congratulating on your money-spending prowess. You can't fool me anymore, Serafina. You are after the gold because you cannot get it any other way than through my son. Maricel, I ain't no gold digger. I have envy or asked Lysander for anything other than love and to hold me up when I feel weak. Also, I have my dreams and ambitions. For this purposes, as in fact does not seem surprising to me with such music, I tried very hard. Oh, please. We know the truth, Serafina, it's more of an excuse to hide your luxury. You believe us to be blind, though what shadows we see. Maricel, I do not ask you to truly understand or believe me when I say that my life is of value. What I was doing with my life and you or anybody else need not to validate that for me. You should be celebrating that I got married today. Your wedding day. It won't last, Serafina. Mark my words. Lysander will see his errors sooner than later, and in the end you won't have anything to show for but an account balance at zero. Maricel, I may not have your blessing, but you know what? Because I really love Lysander and me. Your toxic attitude will not disrupt my positivity. Well, I hope you will excuse me and have a wedding to enjoy. They oozed a drip of barely disguised disdain, and she sounded like someone who had every intention to make me feel bad down again for overspending your wage. That was the final straw for me, and I found my voice. I wouldn't be limited by their beliefs and stood up for my independence, as well as the freedom of speech. Valeria was momentarily speechless. It was a small win, a time when I demanded respect for myself. Innocent was my ignorance, soon to perish. I clearly hit a nerve because Valeria only ever got increasingly more threatening in the soon-to-be. Valeria pulled me to the dance floor, and then she started yelling for all of them about how their guest is there. She blabbed to the world that I had said we could each pay for our half of the wedding. She moved on to ask Lysander a question. Lysander, are you telling me that don't have enough to take care of your bride? What's happening, son? The manner in which she worded it was quite malicious. All his rich friends were there, and she knew they had started snickering at Lysander for marrying somebody who came from the WRNGSIDEOFTHETRACS. Now, everyone was looking intimidatingly at Lysander for the answer. I silently prayed he would come to our defense, owning what we had jointly contributed and the partnership shared. But to my complete horror and devastation, Lysander seemed almost ashamed and decided to lie. They said he did pay for it and also threw me under the bus, not a second thought. Right then, anger, betrayal, and hurt crashes over me. I definitely felt like the happy moments we have experienced and all our promises became a deception right in front of my eyes. His lie on this day made me feel like the ground beneath my feet had become heavier to carry, as I wondered whether our relationship was even real. When he said that, everyone turned to me and laughed like I was some kind of fucking punchline. I just did not want to or could handle my embarrassment for another moment. Reluctantly, I left. When I went outside, my mom ran after me, her arms around me. It felt like pressing a bowl of strength into an urge to my own well-being. This is a simple example, but when my mom came to help me through it after, because what would Elvis do without his mama dolling on him? Her support brought back the memory of sons feeling surrounded by love, and thus deserving of respect and compassion. Trying to be the worst bride who ditched her man at the wedding. All I knew was that everyone stopped trusting me. One fateful day, in an emotional outburst and with nothing but the best of intentions at my disposal, I created a Facebook post which showed everything that was paid for, even bank statements. I was exposing the real nature of our financial contributing to this wedding. This post went viral immediately, and the numbers began to rocket. Some even commented with a video of Marcel, desperately trying to humiliate me. The online community backed me up individually, providing support and solidarity in direct messages. After the social media storm, Valeria messaged me relentlessly pleading that I delete the video. The damage had been done, however. It was too late. The response to her actions has been shared and proliferated by thousands of people, so even though she wanted or needed it gone, there is no way those consequences could be undone. I did eventually take the video down, but not before enough people had seen it. Once news broke of the individuals behind this company, their family business took a tremendous hit, with many regulars vowing to boycott. Who on earth would support any venture associated with such volatile and gutless goons? The subsequent public rebuff of their deeds resulted in heavy subscription losses and the company going under within a few months. Lysander, for example, and then some, never apologized. He even verbally assaulted me, telling me that I was a travesty and making his family look bad, to suck it up. That, I felt, was a sign that I should turn back. Finally, I left Lysander and filed for divorce. It was then that it clicked. His family dynamic had made a mess of our once good relationship. I knew that I wanted a love which encompassed respect, trust, and mutual standing. Determined to do so, I pivoted toward building my life anew. During that time, I stayed under and worked on my personal development. The part of me that was designed to be resilient chose something other than victimhood, and began the process of owning my own life, making a plan for my new independence based on what truly mattered most in this world. Which, when faced with hardship and adversity inside of me, swelled troops that dragged my spirit forward. That I have removed myself from toxic hell, a future filled with love, growth, and peace, the only thing you ever fucking deserved.